And a pleasant good afternoon and welcome to Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey for Pope John Junior Lion Lacrosse. Mike Formasano calling today's game. Thank you so much for joining us. The Pope John Junior Lions are set to take on the Delbarton Green Wave in a rematch of their first game of the season, where Pope John went out to Morristown and defeated the Green Wave by a count of 13-9. It was a great game. Delbarton had actually gone up 6-1 in the second quarter of that contest, but led by Kellen Nelson's hat trick, they were able to come back. Pope John cut the lead to 6-5 at halftime, take the lead in the third quarter. Delbarton got it back to make it 9-8, and then Pope John rattled off 5 straight goals to win the game outright, 13-9. Since then, Pope John Junior Lions have gone 5-0 overall, having won their next 4 games. Meanwhile, Delbarton was on a 5-game winning streak of their own, and they were 5-1 until Monday when they lost to Mendham 8-7 in overtime. So the Delbarton Green Wave now 5-2 on the season, and Pope John is a perfect 5-0. We'll have the lineup for Pope John in just a few minutes as we get set to get started. The players are on the field for both Delbarton and Pope John, and the Lions in their home whites trimmed by blue and gold. They're going right to left on your screen. And Delbarton in their road green uniforms trimmed by white. They're going left to right. Dante Lamb, number 23, will take the draw for the Pope John Lions. And we'll get underway here on the referee's whistle. Here we go. Face-off won by Lamb, and he goes ahead and scoops up the ball. Gets cross-checked at midfield by number 4 for Delbarton. Again, we don't have names for the Green Wave, so we'll just go by numbers. Pope John on the right-hand side. That looks to be number 35. That's Hayden Marshall. Back to Lamb. Lamb walking back towards the left side of the field over to Kellen Nelson, 22. To Johnny Kranga, number 40, now back behind the net. Jack Seeger, number 3, with it for the Lions. Over to Kranga. Kranga on the left side. Gives it over to Kellen Nelson. Nelson will run back up top as Pope John sets their offense. Nelson over to the right. Looking to pass it off. Instead, he elects to charge the net. Nelson coming in. The shot on goal. Saved by the Delbarton goaltender. And it's scooped up by number 30 for the Green Wave. They lose possession on the pass, so Lamb picks it up off the turf. And Dante Lamb will wait for a substitution. Number 4, Victor Fiore out of the game. And coming in for the Pope John Lions looks to be number 44, Ty Plotz. Now here comes Lamb. Lamb on the left side. Passes it across to Kranga. Kranga rips it. Saved by the Delbarton goalkeeper and keeps this game scoreless. Here comes Delbarton up the field, number 4 across the center line. Ball's knocked loose by Kellen Nelson, 22 for Pope John. The scrum there between Pope John and Delbarton players, and 21 for the Green Wave picks it up. Charging on the left side of the net now I'll take it behind. Goaltender Michael Morelli is able to stand it away and knock that one loose, and it goes out of bounds. And number 23 for Delbarton will take over. Great save by number 45, Michael Morelli. The ball comes out to 26 for Delbarton. They pass it off to 25, being defended by number 5, Sal Diarco. Diarco on the player, and we got Plotz who moves up. Takes a swipe at the stick. 25 falls down and the ball's loose. And here comes Plotz. Plotz tries to scoop it up. Scrum for it. And it's picked up by Pope John. Kellen Nelson recovers. And he'll charge down the field on the left sideline. Nelson still has it. He's coming in. Nelson with the shot. He scores! Kellen Nelson is able to rip that one past the goalkeeper for Delbarton. And Pope John takes a 1-0 lead. So Nelson, who had previous success against Delbarton in the first game, won a hat trick. 3 goals in that one. He starts things off right for Pope John in this one. And the Lions lead 1-0. Start the roster going over that as we get set for face-off. We start with number 2, Aiden Hicks. Number 24 is Andrew Jessamaria. Number 7, Connor Clifford. Number 23, who's taking the face-off right now, Dante Lamb. Number 33, Emilio Bronco. Number 1, Evan Wanamaker. 8 is Frankie Spagnola. 39, Johnny Pippa. And number 35, Hayden Marshall. We'll leave it there until another stoppage in play. So, Lions up 1-0 on Delbarton in this rematch of the opening game of the season for both clubs, which Pope John won at Delbarton 13-9. Lamb is set to take the draw against number 24 for Delbarton. As Lamb with it, he scoops it up, and he's able to take possession. So another face-off win by Dante Lamb, who's been a master of that in the first 6 games this season. Here's Lamb rolling to his left. Lamb coming in. He'll pull it back, restart the offense, and he gives it off to Nelson. Kelly Nelson, number 22 for Pope John, will retreat back to about the 40-yard line. Again, they're playing on the football field, so it makes it a little easier to give different signal markers for where the players are. But obviously, the lines are different in lacrosse, as you'll see yellow and orange and blue lines all throughout for different sports, of course. Here's Ty Plotz on the right-hand side. Plotz will pass it over to Kranga. Kranga wearing number 40 in white. He's got 21 in blue. Kranga working his defender. Now he'll come back up top. Passes inside to Marshall. Marshall, it's knocked out of his stick, and number 16 for the Green Wave will pick it up. Pass over to 24, trying to give it right back. Marshall steals it and gives it over to Nelson. Nelson fakes a flip to Plotz, and he'll take it over to the right-hand side. Back to Marshall on the right wing, now behind to Seeger. Jack Seeger, number 3 with it. Seeger running up along his defense, now over to Kranga. Kranga rips it high above the crossbar and out of bounds. We got a flag on the play. We got a slashing call. Looks to be against Delbarton, so Pope John will maintain possession, and we'll see if that results in a power play. Nelson's goal for Pope John has put them up 1-0. We have 6:53 to go here in the opening quarter. We're at Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey. Mike Formasano here calling today's action. Thank you so much for joining us if you're not out here at Pope John High School. Here's Dante Lamb with it. Lamb gives it over to Plotz. Plotz on the right side. Now back to Lamb. Lamb will pass it in to Kranga. Over to Lamb. They're going ahead and playing catch. Over to Plotz now. Plotz will pass it down low to Marshall. Marshall to Seeger behind the net. Jack Seeger over to Kranga. Kranga with the shot. Way wide to the left post. It goes out of bounds. The Delbarton goalkeeper was scrambling to try and get closest to that, but Seeger was, in fact, closest. So Pope John will maintain possession. Here's the pass over to Plotz. Plotz has it on the right now, gives it to Dante Lamb. Oh, into Kellen Nelson. It's just outside of his stick, but recovered by Kranga. Seeger has it behind. He'll reverse course, gives it back to Kranga. It hits off the top of his cross, and it's on the turf. The ball is. Lamb picks it up, passes over to Plotz. Plotz with the shot. Saved by the Delbarton goalkeeper. And Delbarton recovers, but it's knocked out of his stick. However, recovered by number 24 for the Green Wave. Over the 40-yard line into Pope John territory, and Delbarton will start on offense now. 5.5 minutes to go. First quarter, Pope John leads 1-0. Delbarton looking to break in on the left post. One quality shot on Morelli already. He was able to make the save. Here's the pass, and it goes past the mid-stripe line and over to number 3, Jack Seeger. Seeger recovers it from Pope John. Big collision between two players, number 26 and 24 of Delbarton, who ripped into Seeger. It really looks to be all right, so Matt Riley, number 12 for Pope John, recovers it back in his own territory, and the ball goes out of bounds. We're going to time out on the field. 4:59 to go. First quarter, Pope John leads 1-0 over Delbarton. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey for Pope John Junior Lion Lacrosse. Mike Formasano here, calling today's action as the Lions lead the Delbarton Green Wave 1-0. Let's continue going over the roster for Pope John. We left off with Jack Seeger, number 3, Johnny Crankin, number 40, Justin Perello's number 10, Kelly Nelson, number 22, Matt Riley, number 12, Michael Formasano, number 2. In blue. There's a blue number on his jersey. So, whereas Aiden Hicks is blue with the gold jersey number. Michael Morelli in net number 45. And here comes Kellen Nelson. Nelson will go ahead and run up the field on the right sideline, coming in on the Delbarton goalkeeper. We'll pick up rosters in just a little bit. Nelson with it behind the net. He'll flip it to Seeger. As we come out of the timeout, Pope John starting on offense. Pass goes over to Marshall. Now back to Plotz. Ty Plotz will dish it off to Dante Lamb. Lamb with it, coming in. Lamb with the pass in low. Shot saved by the Delbarton goalkeeper. And it goes out of bounds. Shot coming in off the stick of Jack Seeger. And it looks like Delbarton's closest, so they will take over possession. Overcast day, a little bit chilly here at Pope John High School. Threatening rain. Have felt to be a couple of drops so far. So here's number 4 for Delbarton. Coming in on the right side, pass off to 13. He's hit by number 1, Evan Wademaker. And Wademaker will race up the right sideline. Wademaker with a big hit. And he gives it off to Hayden Marshall. Marshall on the right. Marshall will pass it in to Seeger. Seeger goes behind the net. He's being defended by his number 17 for Delbarton. Reverse by Seeger. He tried to pass it off to Marshall, but it was about 5 yards away from him on the left side, and it goes out of bounds, so Delbarton will take over. Number 8 will inbound the ball for the Green Wave when he recovers. 3:39 to go. First quarter, 1-0. Pope John leads over the Delbarton Green Wave. Green Wave 5-2 on the season with losses to Pope John at Mendham. And Pope John a perfect 5-0 so far. Number 7's hit. The ball is knocked loose and he loses his stick. And so Pope John trying to recover, but it's picked up by number 26 for Delbarton. He'll race up the field. That's number 16 actually. Shot on goal. Morelli got a piece of it and it goes out of bounds. And Pope John is closest, so they'll take over. 3:13 to go, first quarter, as Pope John will take over possession. Here's number 5, Sal DiArco with it. DiArco will race up past the left post in his own territory, hit by number 23. Now he comes up, fakes out 21, and then he's drilled in the back of the head by number 23 for Delbarton, and that is an obvious penalty as both referees throw their flags, and so Delbarton will get hit with the infraction there. DiArco taking a shot right to the back of the head, and so Pope John will take over. 3:01 to go, opening quarter. 1-0. Pope John leads on a goal by Kellen Nelson. Substitutions into the game for Pope John. Number 41 is Nick Boyanowski. He's in on defense. Continuing the roster, we left off with Michael Morelli. Nick Boyanowski, as I said, number 41. Ronnie Ziegler, number 42. Ryder Gerval, number 25. Sal DiArco, number 5. Steve Leonard, number 20. Ty Plotz, 44. Victor Fiore, number 4. And Zachary Cash, number 6. The head coach of the Pope John Junior Lions is Christian Vosa. Coaching staff, Chris Hoffman, Chuck Gervald, Matt Emmering, and the program coordinator is Beatrice Pippa. Here's Lamb with it. Lamb will pass it off to Plotz on the right side. Plotz giving it to Marshall. Going around the world now to Seeger behind. Seeger over to Krieger. Krieger with the low shot. He scores! Johnny Krieger picks the 5-hole of the Delbarton goalkeeper. Rips it right between the legs, and Krieger's goal makes it 2-0. The goal comes at the 2:35 mark of the opening quarter. Pope John up 2-0. What a shot by Johnny Krieger to go right through the legs of the goalkeeper, number 3 for Delbarton, and give Pope John a 2-0 lead. So, Dante Lamb will take the face-off against number 24 for Delbarton as the referee sets the ball down in midfield on the line. Here's the draw. Lamb trying to win another face-off. The ball hops loose towards the far sideline, and it gives Pope John an opportunity to recover it. So, even though Lamb couldn't win the face-off cleanly, he still gave Pope John an opportunity to get possession, and they do. Here's Plotz. He'll pass it off. That is number 23, Lamb. Now back to Plotz. Plotz to the near sideline over to Krieger. Trying to stop it and keep it in, and he does. Good play by Krieger to keep the ball in bounds. So now passes it over to Jack Seeger behind the net. Seeger reverses course, comes back in, gives it to Krieger. Krieger faked the shot. He'll turn back around over to Seeger. It's over his head and out of bounds. And so Delbarton will take over. Again, if you shoot it and it goes out of bounds, if you have your person closest to the ball, you maintain possession if you're on offense. It doesn't automatically go over to the defense. But if it's a pass or anything else, it does. Same with sidelines. Anything goes out of bounds on the sidelines, and the other team takes over. So, Delbarton with possession. Number 3 charges up the field into Pope John territory. Number 24 with it for Delbarton. Coming across the middle now on the right side. 24 being defended by Plotz. Good defensive work by Ty with the long pole. Pass off to 22, now over to 26 for Delbarton. Delbarton on the left side. Minute 28 to go. First quarter, 2-0. Pope John leads on goals by Kellen Nelson and Johnny Krieger. 25 goes ahead and underhands that towards the goal. It goes above the crossbar and out of bounds, and it will be Pope John ball. So Nelson will inbound it with 1:18 to go here in the first quarter. He'll run up the near sideline. Nelson with 25 on him. Fakes him out and goes past the center line and into Delbarton territory. Nelson passes over to Marshall. Marshall on the right wing. Marshall will give it down low to Seeger. Jack Seeger, number 3, behind the net. He'll come out on the right post. Now he fakes, goes back towards the left post, tries to tuck it in, but the Delbarton goalkeeper will have none of that. So, Green Wave stay at 2-0. Marshall was able to knock that down, the pass from the goalkeeper. He'll try it again, and he's able to get it to 22. 30 seconds to go, and here's number 26 for Delbarton. Pass over to 21, coming in on Morelli. The shot on goal, he scores. Number 21 rips it past Morelli with 18.5 seconds to go. And Delbarton gets on the board. It's now 2-1 Lions over the Green Wave. So the face-off at midfield will be between number 30 for Delbarton. And you would assume it would be Lamb. And it looks like Lamb's coming out right now to take the draw. 18.5 seconds to go before the end of the first quarter. Pope John holding on to a 2-1 lead. Here's a face-off. Lamb trying to scoop it up, being forced off the ball. It's underneath them, and we got a whistle and a travel, and it will be Pope John ball. So the infraction against Delbarton with 9 seconds to go. Here's Lamb racing up the field. Dante Lamb looking to get a shot off. Lamb high above the crossbar, and it goes out of bounds. And we'll see whose possession it is with 1.9 seconds to go. It is Pope John. They retain. Referee's whistle. Pass out to Plotz. It's out of his reach. Seeger had to rush it because of the amount of time on the clock, and there's the horn for the end of the first quarter. So, Pope John on goals by Kellen Nelson and Johnny Kranga take a 2-1 lead over the Delbarton Green Wave. We'll be back with second quarter action between Pope John and Delbarton right after this. Welcome back to Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey for Pope John Junior Lion Lacrosse. Mike Formersano here, calling today's action as the Lions lead the Delbarton Green Wave 2-1. Kellen Nelson and Johnny Kranga with the goals in the first quarter for the Lions. They will switch sides now as Pope John in their white uniforms, trimmed by blue and gold, will be going left to right on your screen. And Delbarton in their road green uniforms, green jerseys with white shorts and white trim, will be going right to left. Number 21 with the goal for Delbarton with 18 and a half seconds to go in the first quarter. So now we start the second face-off at midfield. This is the rematch between these two teams from 1 month ago today at Delbarton at the Southgate Fields in Morristown, where Pope John came back to win 13-9. Here's the face-off. Lamb loses it over to number 30, and Delbarton will charge up the field. Pass over to 23. Tried to give it off to 21, and the ball goes out of bounds, and Pope John will take over. So maybe one pass too many by number 23 there for Delbarton. And so now Nelson will go towards the sidelines, and 21's holding on to it as if they're going to inbound the ball. So, and now Delbarton, and they're saying it's Delbarton ball. So, a little confused there. It looked like he went out of bounds off of Delbarton, but the referee's just saying Pope John last touched it. And so Delbarton will inbound. Here's number 21 in. Wanamaker on him. 21 trying to set up a shot. Goes wide of the right post. And number 23 is closest for the Green Wave. So they will maintain possession. 9:34 just underway here. Second quarter. 2-1. Pope John leads over Delbarton. Substitutions in for Pope John. Goes out to number 25 for Delbarton, now over to 4. 4 will pass it over to 30. 30 to 25. Rips it just wide to the left post and out of bounds. Delbarton will keep the ball. Number 26 will inbound. Goes over to number 26, now back to 21. 21 gives it to 30 up top. Down to 23, the shot wide to the left post, and it looks like Morelli will be closest, and it's going to be Pope John ball. Good effort by Morelli to get out of his net and make sure he was closest to the ball as it went out of bounds. So Pope John will take over. That's number 22. Kellen Nelson will run up the near sideline, try to get past number 26 and 25. Head collision between both. And Nelson continues to charge. Nelson on the right wing. He'll drop down below the goal line and pass it off to Jack Seeger. Seeger, number 3, on the left post below. Now over to Kranga. Johnny Kranga, number 40, on the left post. Kranga will roll back up top. Gives it off to Dante Lamb. Here's Lamb, number 23 with it. He'll walk it back towards midfield. He's got 26 on him. Cross check in the back. We go ahead and continue playing on, and now it gets a little too physical. Whistle on the play, and that's against number 26 for Delbarton. So, Pope John will maintain possession. They lead 2-1 with 8:27 to go here in the second quarter. After today's game, Pope John will head over to MetLife Stadium on Saturday for the MetLife tournament. Please join us for that. Times for the games are listed in TeamSnap, or in Sports Engine, I should say. I apologize. TeamSnap is another application that's used, but not the one Pope John uses. So Sports Engine is where you'll be able to find those times. It'll be Saturday afternoon, and if you are already on this Facebook Live page, you'll get an update on your phone when we are coming live. So Saturday afternoon, MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Pope John in the MetLife tournament. Here's Dante Lamb over to Nelson. Nelson gives it back to Plotz. Plotz to Marshall down below. Marshall will run behind the goal. To the left post. He'll run back out. Circles back up top. Pass to Kranga. Here's Johnny Kranga over to Dante Lamb. Lamb will give it over to Nelson. Nelson back to... That looks like Jack Seeger. It is. Seeger. We'll give it over to Kranga. No, that's Plotz. Plotz over to Seeger now on the left. Seeger pass it back up top to Marshall. Marshall gives it over to Johnny Kranga. Kranga to Lamb. Pope John playing giveaway from Delbarton, looking to set up a shot right now. Seeger passes it off to Kranga, going left-handed. It's a save by the Delbarton goalkeeper. Now it's in close. Dante Lamb trying to scoop it up. And he does. Lamb passes it off. The shot on goal. Deflected down by Delbarton. And they try to take over, and they don't. Ty Plott's able to get it. However, we got a whistle on the play. And I think it's going to go against Pope John, and it'll be Delbarton ball. If I'm not mistaken. I see a Delbarton player going off the field, so maybe it is against Delbarton. We'll wait for the call. Now the referee calling the Delbarton player back on the field. So 7:13 to go before halftime. 2-1. Pope John leads over Delbarton. Referee blows the whistle. Pope John does maintain possession with no penalty on the play. Here is Nelson over to Plotz. Plotz drops it back down low to Marshall. Marshall over to Seeger. Jack Seeger, number 3, behind the Pope John net. Up to Lamb, now back to Nelson. Nelson up top. Nelson gives it to Plotz. Now back to Lamb. Lamb over to Kranga. Kranga in front. The shot! He scores! Kellen Nelson, goal number 2 on the game for him. So he's able to tuck it just inside the right post. And Nelson's goal gives Pope John a 3-1 lead. Kellen Nelson scores with 6:47 remaining in the second quarter. 3-1, Pope John over Delbarton. If you think this is exciting, wait until these kids get to high school. And they play at the varsity level between each other. Both teams loaded. Here's a face-off, won by Lamb. It goes over to Plotz. Plotz on the right-hand side. They'll pass it off to Seeger. Seeger will give it to Kranga. Kranga on the left. Kranga will pass it off. Back to Seeger. Now to Kranga. Now to pass over to Nelson. Kellen Nelson runs in towards the goal on the right side. Nelson with the shot. Save by the Delbarton goaltender. And with 6:16 to go, it goes out of bounds. And Pope John will maintain possession. Here's Seeger over to Marshall. Marshall back up top to Nelson. Number 22 against 22. Delbarton's number 22 defending Nelson. Nelson will roll in to his left. Fakes. Now goes to his right. The pass in to Seeger. Save. Here's Nelson with the rebound. Nelson tries to fire. It falls out of his cross. And number 30 for Delbarton scoops it up. And he races up the field along the near sideline. He's being defended by Victor Fiore. Now over to 26. Number 26 will roll around. Matt Riley on him. Now over to 25. Plots in on defense. Takes a swing at him. Shot. Saved by Morelli right off the right leg. And he gave it a little shake as it must have stung. Good save by Morelli, keeping it a 3-1 game. And so here's Plotz running through midfield into Delbarton territory. Plotz will pass it in. Comes in on net inside the goalie crease. And number 3 for Delbarton makes the save. Scoops it up, and he'll look to pass it downfield. Gives it over to number 11. End-to-end action right now between Pope John and Delbarton. Here comes the Green Wave. Number 4 with the shot. Bounces it too low as it took too high a bounce over the crossbar. So he hit the turf too early to try and bounce it in. Went over the crossbar and out of bounds. But Delbarton will maintain possession. 4:54 to go. First half. The rain is holding off. Thank goodness for that. It is a little cool out here. Early May afternoon here in northern New Jersey. Pope John and Delbarton going at it at Pope John High School. 3-1. The Lions lead the Green Wave. Here's number 23 for Delbarton. Over to number 4. We'll pass it back up top to 30. Now we're number 4, the shot on goal. Saved by Morelli. And he knocks it out of bounds. Delbarton will keep possession. Morelli coming up with some big saves for Pope John in this one. Green Wave coming back in. Here's 21. Passes it off to 30. 30 with it up top. He rips it wide of the left post, and it goes out of bounds. And it looks to be Pope John's possession. Nope. They're going to say, yeah, it's going to go over to Pope John. Ty Plotz will take it. And he'll inbound the ball on the referee whistle. 4:29 to go. Second quarter, Pope John leading 3-1. Plotz takes a shove by number 26. Here's number 4 to defend. Does a 360, and we got a whistle. And they're going to say it's against Plotz, and it'll be Delbarton ball. So the Green Wave take over possession with 4:19 to go. Second quarter. Here comes the Green Wave. Number 25 passes it off to 30. 30 up top. Looking to fire. He elects not to. Passes off to 21. Now the shot. Save Morelli. Great stick save by Michael Morelli. And number 25 passes it back off to number 30. Plots all over him. Knocks it loose. And it's scooped up by Sal Diarco. We got a whistle. So Delbarton's going to maintain possession on that whistle. The infraction against Pope John. Bad break for the Lions. Less than 4 minutes to go. Second quarter. 3-1. Pope John leads over the Green Wave. Here's number 25 on the left wing. Looking to race in. Gives it off to 4. 4 with the shot. Just goes wide of the left post. It will maintain Delbarton possession. Well, that shot came in. Morelli moved over to defend the left post, but it went wide and out of bounds. Here's 21. Over to 30 for Delbarton. Back to 21. The shot. Save Morelli. Michael Morelli standing tall in net for Pope John this afternoon. Now to pass out. And here comes number 23, Dante Lamb, up the near sideline. Number 4 taking a swing at Lamb, and as he races by. Now here's a shot by Kranger off the post. Oh, Kranger rings iron, and the game remains 3-1. Here's Plotz. Plotz back to Kranger on the left side. He'll walk it in. Bit of a trot. Ryder Gerval, number 25, checks into the game for Pope John. Kreinger racing back to midfield. He'll pass it off to Gervald. Here's Gervald on the top right portion of the field in Delbarton territory. He'll give it off to Kreinger. 2:45 to go. 3-1. Pope John over Delbarton. Pass off to Lamb. Lamb on the left side. Lamb assessing the setup of his teammates. He'll now run it into the left. Trying to break through the defense. It's knocked loose of his cross. And Delbarton will scoop it up. Nice play by number 4, but we got a whistle. We got a one-handed slash. So, Delbarton will take over. No, I'm sorry, Pope John will maintain possession. They'll start to back up. Substitutions in for both Delbarton and Pope John. Gervald now out and plots back in for the Lions. Here's Lamb. Lamb on the left side. Passes it off to Nelson. Nelson to Plotz. Plotz will give it over to Hayden Marshall. Marshall back to Seeger. It's deflected by number 8. Goes towards the sidelines, and there's number 3, Seeger with it. Seeger will run back towards the goal, but behind it. 2 minutes to go. Second quarter. Pope John leads 3-1. The shot by Kreinger. Saved by the Delbarton netminder. Good save by the goalie, and number 24 will take over for Delbarton. Minute 45 to go. Second quarter. 24 races up the far sidelines. Over the midline stripe. Nelson defending him. There's Wanamaker to try and defend as well. Now trying to get around Plotz. 24 still charging. It's coming in on net. Now it's finally knocked loose of his cross, and Nelson picks it up. Kellen Nelson will go up the far sidelines. And the pass is deflected, so Delbarton takes over. Here's 21 trying to get around the Pope John defense. That's knocked loose, and Wanamaker races up the field. Evan Wanamaker on the 40. Now the 30. They'll pass it off. Goes down below. Over to Marshall in front. It's deflected and goes wide. Penalty against Pope John, and so Delbarton will take over. 1 minute to go. Second quarter. The Pope John attack there stymied right at the goal. So Delbarton takes over. There's number 11 with 50 seconds to go. Racing upfield into Pope John territory. 11 passes it off to 4. 4 rolls around his defender. The shot on goal. He scores. Number 4 for Delbarton. Puts it in the back of the net. Pope John now has been burned twice by last-minute goals at the quarters. 18 and a half seconds to go in the first quarter this time. 41.7 seconds to go. And Delbarton hits the back of the net and now only trails by 1. 3-2. Pope John over Delbarton in one heck of a lacrosse game as we race towards halftime. Oh, the face-off will be taken by Dante Lamb against number 24 for Delbarton. Ball placed at the center of the field, right on the 50-yard line. Lamb and his counterpart down to try and scoop up the ball. Lamb wins it, and he takes possession. Lamb tries to race past 24 and into Delbarton territory. Coming in, they'll pass it off just out of the reach of Plotz. Now Ty Plotz takes it up. 26 seconds to go. Pass to Nelson. Nelson up top. Nelson looking to roll in. He goes towards his right. Nelson racing it to the left. The shot on goal. He scores! Kellen Nelson with another hat trick against Delbarton. 3 in the back of the net for Nelson. And Pope John with 16 seconds to go. They lead 4-2. So Nelson with the offensive explosion again for Pope John in the first half against Delbarton. 4-2. Pope John leads over the Green Wave. Here's the face-off. Lamb's able to win it again. It's on the turf still. 30 still fighting for it, so nobody scooped it up as of yet. Lamb trying to pick it up, and he does. He's got 7 seconds to work with. Lamb passes it off. The shot by Krieger just wide of the right post. And that's it as time expires. And there's the horn signaling the end of the first half. So Pope John on a hat trick by Kellen Nelson take a 4-2 lead into halftime over the Delbarton Green Wave. We will be back after halftime with second half action here at Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey. The score at the half, Pope John 4, Delbarton 2. Charlie. Welcome back to Pope John High School here in Sparta, New Jersey for second half action of the Pope John Junior Lions as they take on the Delbarton Green Wave. Mike Formasano calling today's action. Thanks so much for joining us on this overcast May afternoon. Hopefully the rain stays away as we get set to start the second half. Let's go over the roster for Pope John as they hold a 4-2 lead beginning the third quarter. Starting with number 2, Aiden Hicks. Number 24, Andrew Jessamaria. 7 is Connor Clifford. 23, Dante Lamb. Emilio Barranco, number 33. Evan Wanamaker, number 1. Frankie Spagnola, number 8. Johnny Pippin, number 39. Hayden Marshall, number 35. Jack Seeger is number 3. Johnny Krangen, number 40. Justin Perella, number 10. Kellen Nelson, 22. Matt Riley, number 12. Michael Formasano, number 2. Michael Morelli, the goalkeeper, number 45. Nick Boyanowski, number 41. Ronnie Ziegler, number 42. Ryder Gerval, number 25. Sal DiArco, number 5. Steve Leonard, number 20. Ty Plotz, 44. Victor Fiore, 4. And Zachary Cash, number 6. The head coach of the Pope John Junior Lions is Christian Vosa. Coaching staff, Chris Hoffman, Chuck Derval, Matt Emmering, Beaches Pippa. The program coordinator as Dante Lamb wins that faceoff and charges up the field, but it's knocked loose by Delbarton. And so we start the second half. Pope John up 4-2. The Lions in their home white uniforms trimmed by blue and gold. They're going right to left on your screen. Delbarton in their green uniforms trimmed by white. They are going left to right. Here's Plotz. He'll go ahead and stick the ball away from number 3. Great defensive play by Plotz, and he'll run up the far sideline. He's got number 23 there. Pass up to Kellen Nelson. Nelson with 3 goals on the game so far as he races in on the left post. Krangen with the other goal for the Pope John Lions. Delbarton with their 2 goals in the last minutes of each quarter. 18 seconds ago in the first one and then 41 seconds ago in the second quarter. That's all she wrote for the Delbarton Green Wave so far on offense. For Pope John, they hold a 2-goal lead. Here's Hayden Marshall, number 35 on the right side. Ball behind to Jack Seeger. Seeger will take it. He'll roll back out down to Krangen. Krangen with the shot. Deflected, and it goes out of bounds. And there is Seeger as he is closest to it. So Seeger, number 3, will inbound the ball over to Krangen. Number 40 for Pope John. He'll run it up and now gives it over to Marshall. Marshall back to Plotz. Plotz on the right side. Pass over to Marshall on the right. Here's Marshall back behind. Over to Krangen. Krangen now to Seeger on the left side. Seeger. Pass. No, decides to hold on to it. Now gives it over to Lamb. Dante Lamb with it. Over to Plotz. Back to Lamb. And now over to Seeger. It bounced out of his cross, but the way it hit the turf, it bounced right back to him. So he recovers, gives it to Lamb. Now over to Plotz. Number 44, Ty Plotz with it. Plotz rolling on the right side. The shot goes wide, and Pope John looks to be closest to it. That's number 40, Johnny Krangen. So he'll take one of the balls set up out of bounds and run it back in. About 2.5 minutes into the third quarter here at Pope John High School. It is 4-2. The Lions lead over the Delbarton Green Wave. Pass goes over to Hayden Marshall. Now back to Kranga. Johnny Kranga with it behind the net. Kranga with the pass over Lamb's head, and Nelson races back. Keeps it back on the Delbarton side of the field so the Green Wave can't take over. And now Pope John will return to offense. Here's Marshall on the right side being defended by number 8. Marshall looking to pass to someone. He'll roll back to his right now to his left. Throws it in the middle of the field, and it's intercepted by number 16 for Delbarton. And he's hit by Nelson, and Kellen Nelson takes over. However, we got a whistle on the play, and an infraction against Kellen Nelson. So the Green Wave will take over. 6:52 to go, third quarter, as Pope John leads 4-2. Here's number 30 for the Green Wave. Referee blows whistle, and so the Green Waves start up. Here is number 30 for Delbarton. Now over to number 4. 30 takes it back over. Now over to 4 again. The shot on goal goes wide and off the back fence and out of bounds. Delbarton is closest to it, so they will start back up. Here's number 26 for the Green Wave on the right post. Over to number 21. Pass back to number 30. 30. Around the horn it goes. A shot high over the crossbar and out of bounds. Delbarton retains possession. It's inbounded to number 21 for the Green Wave. Now over to number 30. Back to number 4 for Delbarton. On the left side, Plot's defending him. Now goes up top to 30. 30 racing in. Back to number 4. Over to 23. Tried to swipe it in. And the ball's on the turf. It's now in the air. And 21 for Delbarton races to take over possession. Here's 21. Defended by number 1, Evan Wanamaker. 21 races in the shot. Just wide of the left post. And it goes past the fence and out of bounds. And Delbarton closest, so they will take possession. Or maintain, I should say. Here's number 26, back up top to 21 on the right side. 21 will race in, swiped by Wanamaker. Both him and Nick Boyanowski on top of 21, trying to knock the ball loose. Still got it. He shows it off to the defender. There's number 23 behind the net. Now out in front. It's intercepted. Ball's on the turf. Scrambling for it. And that's finally picked up by Pope John, and they'll race it up the field. Here's Plotz with it. Plotz will run across midfield and into Delbarton territory. Here comes Ty Plotz. Plotz passes off to Seeger on the right post. Has it behind the net and in the corner. Seeger looking to race in. Goes towards the left post. Pass out to Kranga. Johnny Kranga, number 40. On the left side, defended by number 14 for Delbarton. Looking to run in. Got number 30 there. 40 up top. He's got Gervald there. On the right side is Kranga. Ball goes all the way out of bounds, and Delbarton's going to take over. 4:26 to go, third period of what has turned into a defensive struggle between Pope John and Delbarton. 22 goals in the first game between these two, and about 2.5 quarters in, and we're only at 6. 4-2, Pope John leading Delbarton. Goaltending has been sharp for both teams. Actually, number 1 is in net for Delbarton, replacing number 3. And in net for Pope John, as was in the first half, is Michael Morelli. Ball's on the turf. Scrambling to get it. There's Hayden Marshall. Marshall will flip it towards the net. And a save by number 1 for Delbarton. Intercepted by Plotz. Plotz with the shot. Saved by the Delbarton netminder, and it goes out of bounds. Pope John will maintain possession. Plotz with the interception and the rip on net. But the Delbarton goalie able to make the save. Little ball inbounded. There's Lamb with it on the left side. Dante Lamb passes it off to Nelson. Nelson rolls back to the center of the field over to Gervald. Ryder Gervald, number 25, gives it off to Marshall on the right side. Goes out of bounds, and the ball go over to Delbarton. So the Green Wave will look to pull out the proximate goal here. They're down by 2. That'll get them to 1 if they can get it. Pope John looking to maintain their 2-goal lead at this point. Here's number 14 for the Green Wave up the right sideline. Delbarton 5-2 on the season, having only lost to Pope John at Delbarton on April 3rd, and then this past Monday against Mendham, 8-7 in overtime. The loss to Pope John was 13-9. Pope John a perfect 5-0 on the season. Here's Kranga. Kranga on the left. Pope John with wins over Delbarton, Kumpf Middle School, Warren Hills, Hackettstown, and Lenape Valley. There's Plotz back up top. 2:56 to go, third quarter. Plotz setting up the offense. He's got number 20 on him. Plotz looking to pass. There's Lamb. Lamb with the shot just wide of the right post. Seeger's closest for Pope John, so they'll maintain possession. Referee's whistle starts play back up again. 2:40 to go. Here is Seeger. Jack Seeger, number 3. We got a whistle on the play, and it's against Pope John, so Delbarton will take over. So number 14 takes the ball from Seeger, and he'll start it up the field. Pass back to the goalkeeper, number 1. And he'll run out of his crease and flip it upfield into Pope John territory. There's number 23 with it. Ball's on the turf. Both Delbarton and Pope John fighting for it. Ball still loose. You got Wanamaker in on it, and there is number 41, Nick Boyanowski. Boyanowski's able to pick it up. We've got a whistle on the play. We got a timeout on the field. 2:07 to go. Third quarter. Pope John leads Delbarton 4-2. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. Good. How are you? It's for the team and everything. We go ahead and stream. My son's on Pope John, so I stream him and his other son's sports and everything. And so I say, go ahead, whoever wants to watch it, as far as parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, we put it on Facebook Live. So
just like when you were young, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You've been saying a lot of bad things about the ref.
I have? What?
I've been quote worse.
That's false. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's funny. It really has. It's great to be able to do this. So, yeah. Thank you. Welcome back to Pope John High School here in Sparta, New Jersey. For Pope John Junior Lion Lacrosse, Mike Formersano here, calling today's action as the Lions lead the Delbarton Green Wave 4-2, late third quarter. This will be Pope John's last action until Saturday, when they will head to MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, for the MetLife tournament. Then they'll get back to regular season action next Saturday, May 13th, up in Warwick, New York, as they will head across the border into New York State in Orange County to take on Warwick. I believe that is a 12:30 start, if I'm not mistaken. So please join us then, but also join us for the MetLife tournament as well. So Pope John will start possession here with 2:06 to go in the third quarter. Running up the right sideline, there is Seeger. Seeger on the right post towards the sideline. He's being defended by number 8. Kellen Nelson now, number 22, drops back to the 30-yard line over to Kranga. Now to Plotz. Plotz around to Lamb. Dante Lamb on the left. Trying to get around number 4 for Delbarton. There's Hayden Marshall. Marshall, number 35, behind the net. Marshall will give it off to Seeger. Seeger has it. He'll go ahead and pass it up to Nelson. Back to Kranga. Over to Plotz. Back to Nelson. Nelson will give it to Marshall on the right. Marshall with the pass. Over. The shot goes wide by Kranga. Goes out of bounds. Wide to the left post. Pope John maintains possession with 1:14 to go, third quarter. So here's Seeger. He'll run in on number 8 from Delbarton. Goes behind the net.
Let's go, Jack.
Fakes to the right post. Goes to the left. Pass to Plotz. Plotz with the shot. He scores! Ty Plotz hits the top left corner in the net. Pass to Delbarton goalkeeper. And Pope John leads 5-2. Plotz first goal of the game with 1:03 remaining in the third quarter. 5-2, Pope John over Delbarton. So number 30 will take the draw for Delbarton. And here comes Dante Lamb for the Lions. Here's the faceoff on the referee's whistle. Lamb trying to scoop it up. He's knocked down, and number 11 for Delbarton takes over. Ball still loose, and it's finally scooped up by number 30. Number 30 has number 4 to dish it off to, and he does. Defended by Plotz. Reverses course. He goes to his left, back up top. Number 4 racing back out to the 40-yard line. He'll pass it off to number 26 on the left-hand side. Now goes behind the net. There's Riley. Matt Riley, number 12. With 28.4 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Delbarton with possession. They're down by 3. Wanamaker all over 21 on the right side. 21 trying to come in. He'll go back up top. The ball's knocked loose. It's back on the turf. And Pope John's able to recover. There's Dante Lamb with a great defensive play. He'll race up the right sideline. Here comes Lamb. The pass over. The shot saved by the Delbarton goalkeeper. The shot coming in off of Jack Seeger. But number 1 for Delbarton able to stop that. An exciting way to finish the end of the third quarter. Pope John with a goal by Ty Plotz is able to go up 5-2 on Delbarton. And we will bring you fourth quarter action here from Pope John High School right after this. Good, yeah. Go well. Okay. Welcome back to Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey. For Pope John Junior Lion Lacrosse, Mike Formersano calling today's action as the Pope John Junior Lions lead the Delbarton Green Wave 5-2. 3 goals by Kellen Nelson, 1 by Johnny Kranga, 1 by Ty Plotz. And the Lions with a 3-goal lead as we start the fourth quarter. Pope John in their home white uniforms, trimmed by blue and gold. They're going left to right on your screen. Delbarton in their road green jerseys with white shorts trimmed by white. and green, and they are going right to left. Here's the face-off to start the fourth quarter. Lamb fighting for it. It goes into Delbarton territory, and he scoops it up. It's knocked loose, however. Delbarton trying to take it off the turf. It's picked up by Crango, but only briefly. He's knocked down. And we got a whistle from the referee. And possession will go over to Delbarton. 5-2, Pope John leads. Just underway here, fourth quarter. Substitutions in for the Green Wave. Looks like possession's actually going to stay with Pope John. So Craig will inbound it for Pope John. Look at the fire, but he fakes it. Now gives it off to Lamb. Lamb to Plotz. Plotz being defended. Gives it off to Seeger. Seeger behind the net. Defended by number 8 for Delbarton. Now over to Kranga. Johnny Kranga on the left. Waiting for a substitution into the game. That's Hayden Marshall. Actually, Marshall coming in as Pope John was one man short. So there's the pass to Marshall. Marshall on the right. He'll give it off to Seeger. Jack Seeger coming behind. Now off to Kranga. Kranga to Nelson. Nelson looking to fire. Nelson in. The shot. He scores! Kellen Nelson with goal number 4 on the game. And the Pope John Lions lead 6-2. Nelson's goal comes at the 9:06 mark remaining in the fourth quarter. Nelson with 4 goals, and Pope John leads 6-2 over Delbarton. Well, the Lions looking to pull away here finally in the fourth quarter, upping their lead to 4. Sal DeArco is going to take the face-off now against number 30 for the Green Wave. Number 30 wins it, and he'll go forward with it. Number 30 passing up 23, the shot on goal. Goes wide to the left post. Delbarton's closest, and they will maintain possession. Just under 9 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Pope John leads 6-2 over Delbarton. Here's number 25. He'll roll out. Shot goes off a helmet and bounces out of bounds. I didn't see exactly whose helmet it was. However, the ball goes out of bounds, and it looks like it will be Pope John possession. So, Wanamaker picks it up. Good break for Pope John. Wanamaker will pass it off to Ty Plotz. Plotz, cross field to Frankie Spagnola. Number 8, Spagnola into the game for the first time today. Goes ahead and gives it off to Ryder Gervald. Gervald in for the second time. Gervald will pass it off to Marshall. Just out of his reach. There's Seeger. Looking to scoop it up. He'll push number 8 off the ball. They're still fighting for it as it's on the turf. Look to see who comes out of this. And it is Seeger. Seeger takes it up. Jack Seeger, number 3, on the near sideline. Will pass it off to Lamb. Dante Lamb moving towards the middle of the field. 8:08 to go. Fourth quarter. 6-2. Pope John over Delbarton. Here's Lamb in the middle of the field. Lamb racing in on the right side. The shot off the post. It hit the cross of the goalkeeper and then knocked off the right post. So the game remains 6-2. Second post hit today by Pope John. There was one earlier in the first half. Here's Marshall. Marshall reverses. Goes back towards his right side. He's got number 6 on him. Now off to Seeger. Seeger back to Lamb. Pope John really shortening up the lineup today and playing a tight defensive game and scoring at opportunities. It's definitely not wide open like the first game against Delbarton or many of their other games throughout the season. Pope John has really clamped down on defense. Here's Lamb. Lamb reverses the shot. Saved by the goalkeeper for number 1 of Delbarton. And that's, you have to do that in order to play Delbarton close. And that's what they've done to find a way to victory that's been successful so far by Coach Vosa as Pope John holds a 6-2 lead. Here's Delbarton racing up the middle. The shot in by 23. And he scores. Puts it right between the legs of Michael Morelli. And Delbarton staying in this game. They're now only down by 3. 6-3 is the score. Pope John leads with 6:49 to go in the fourth quarter. So Plotz will take the face-off for Pope John. It'll be against number 3 for Delbarton. Number 3 was playing goal in the first half. He has switched over to midfield. And number 1 in net for Delbarton in the second half of this game.
Ty, you need a wing over here, Ty. You need a wing.
Well, Plotz will move over to wing now, and we got Dante Lamb coming back in to take the draw. So it'll be Nelson, Lamb, and Plotz in midfield with Marshall, Seeger, and Kranga on the attack. And then on defense, you got Riley, you've got Boyanowski, and Wanamaker, and Morelli in net. Here's the face-off. It's won by Lamb, and he'll go forward with it. Knocks into number 3 for Delbarton. Shakes him off. Now to pass over to Kranga. Kranga on the left side. Kranga will pass it down below. Scooped up there by Seeger. Jack Seeger, number 3, passes it back to Kranga. Kranga fakes the pass. Now he'll walk it back towards the sideline. Now over to... No, he still has possession. He gives it over to Ty Plotz. There's Plotz up top. The 45-yard line now into the 40. Running in on number 26. Plotz with the shot. He scores! Ty Plotz bounces it in front of number 1 for Delbarton. And the bounce took the ball up to the top left corner of the net. And found its way in. 7-3. Pope John now leads. Plotz with his second of the game. 6:07 remaining here, fourth quarter. The Lions looking to go 6-0 on the season against Delbarton and drop them down to 5-3. After Delbarton lost to Pope John in early April, they rattled off a 5-game win streak, only to have it snapped by Mendham in overtime on Monday, 8-7. And now they're staring a possible second straight defeat in the face. Here's a face-off. Oh, no, they'll hold it back. It's against Lamb as he moved too quickly, so Delbarton will take the ball. Here's number 24 racing up, takes the shot. It's knocked out of his cross. It's on the turf. Boyanowski there. Number 21 scoops it up. He'll run back towards the left sidelines, gives it over to 30. 30 being defended by Lamb. Now over to 21. 21 will reverse course, now over to 25. 25 will turn it back around. Looks to shoot on goal. Morelli gets a piece of it. It's loose. And it's being held there. They scoop it towards the net, but it's wide to the right post, and it rolls out of bounds. And so Pope John will take over. 5:30 to go, fourth quarter. Pope John holding on to a 7-3 lead. Mike Formisano calling today's action. Thank you so much for joining us here. We are at Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey for the rematch between Delbarton and Pope John, 7th and 8th grade. Pope John won the match at Delbarton last month on April 3rd, 13-9, having come back from a 6-1 deficit in that. They didn't have to come back from a deficit today. They've held on to the lead for the entire contest. It's now up to 7-3, Pope John. Here's Lamb. Will pass it off to Seeger. Seeger to Marshall on the right side. Hayden Marshall will turn back around, gives it over to Seeger. Seeger will run behind, trying to run towards the left post. Here's Seeger in front. The shot goes wide to the left post, and it goes out of bounds. And it looks like Delbarton will take over possession. So 4:49 to go, fourth quarter. Pope John 7, Delbarton 3. Pass over to the goalkeeper. Number 1. He'll pass to 7. He can't handle it. It's on the turf, but he scoops it up, loses it, and Plotz is there to pick up the ball, and shot in on Plotz on the goalkeeper, and he's able to make the save. Now Delbarton takes back over. There's number 13. Pass up in the air to number 7 as it was deflected by Plotz. Ball comes in, number 25 trying to scoop it up. Delbarton right in front of Morelli's crease. Ball still on the turf and finally picked up by Sal D'Arco. D'Arco passes it back to Plotz. Plotz will take it into Delbarton territory. Plotz passes it off to Kranga. It's deflected down by number 4 with the long pole, but it goes over to Sal D'Arco. D'Arco gives it to Plotz. Plotz on the right. Less than 4 minutes to go. Fourth quarter. Pope John leads 7-3. Here comes Plotz. Plotz rips it, and he scores! The hat trick for Ty Plotz. So, 3 first-half goals by Kellen Nelson, 3 second-half goals by Ty Plotz, and Pope John leads 8-3. The goal coming at the 3:43 remaining mark. Substitutions in. Michael Formersano, number 2, into the game on the right wing for Pope John. Lamb will take the face-off. You got Johnny Pippa on the left side. Here's a face-off. Won by Lamb. Stick is tied up by Delbarton. It's loose. And number 24 picks it up for Delbarton. 24 coming in to pass to 3. The shot goes wide to the left post and out of bounds. Morelli chased it down, trying to get possession. We'll see who it goes over to. Is it going to be Pope John possession? It is. So Nelson back into the game for Pope John, and he will inbound the ball. We start the clock back up with 3.5 minutes to go, fourth quarter. 8-3, Pope John leading over Delbarton. Here's Nelson along the near sideline, trying to get past number 25 and 24, right in front of us. And we got a collision between both. A whistle on the play. And it's going to be Delbarton possession. So, goes against Pope John there. Here's 24 looking to inbound. Formersano on him. 24 races to the middle of the field. Pass off to number 3. The shot on goal. He scores. Number 3 buries it past Michael Morelli. And don't go anywhere yet, folks. Delbarton still in this game with 3:06 remaining. They've cut the lead to 8-4. Oh, substitutions back in the game. Wanamaker and Boyanowski in for Pope John. Johnny Pippa and Michael Formersano back out. And here comes Victor Fiore into the game. Number 4 on the right wing. Lamb will take the draw with 3:06 remaining. Here's a face-off. Scooped up by Delbarton. And we got a whistle and an infraction against Pope John. Pope John not happy about the call. Giving a little bit of lip to the referee. They hand it right back to him. So here's 24 for Delbarton. Being defended by D'Arco. Number 5 for Pope John. Pass into number 3. It's knocked loose. If Delbarton wants to try and find a way back into this game, they got to score quickly, and they are on offense right now with 2:40 to go. D'Arco defending, and there's Matt Riley in the close. The shot by 21 is wide. He bounces it off the turf, and it goes out of bounds. And number 25 closest for Delbarton, and they will maintain possession. 2:23 remaining, fourth quarter on this chilly May afternoon here in Sparta, New Jersey. The Pope John Lions lead 8-4. Shot off the post by number 25. Tried to tuck it in past Morelli. Bad break for Delbarton. Good for Pope John, and Plotz will give it back to his goalkeeper. We got a whistle on the play and a timeout. 2:08 remaining, fourth quarter. Pope John leads over Delbarton 8-4. We'll be back with the remaining 2:08 of this contest right after this. Welcome back to Pope John High School in Sparta, New Jersey, as Pope John Lions lead the Delbarton Green Wave 8-4. Mike Formersano calling today's action. Thanks so much for joining us as the Lions look to go 6-0 on the season, and they are only 128 seconds away from doing so. Meanwhile, Delbarton at 5-2 on the year. They are looking to score and score quickly to get back into this one. However, Pope John will start with possession on the referee's whistle. And here we go. Kellen Nelson with it down in the corner. He's got two defenders on him, 11 and 25. Looking to run back towards behind the goal. Now towards the far sideline. Nelson will pass it upfield to Plotz. He gets it there. Good pass and good reception by Plotz. Here's Ty. Pass over to Lamb. Lamb has it on the right wing. He'll drop down below the goal. Pope John just looking to kill the remaining 100 seconds on the clock. Lamb being defended by number 8. He's got it down below. The seconds tick away, and that is good for Pope John. Time is of the favor for them. Here's Lamb. He races towards the right post now, pulls it back, and goes back the other way, looking to get a shot off. He'll pass it off to Ty Plotz instead. We got a whistle. And too much time, and Delbarton will take over. There's minute 10 to go here in the fourth quarter. Number 10 racing up the field. 8-4. Pope John leads. 16. They'll pass it off to 4. Now to 25. He can't handle the pass, and it's scooped up by Pope John. Here's Nelson all the way down the field to Plotz. Just evades him, but it goes over to Krieger. Here's Johnny Krieger. Krieger with the shot. He scores! Icing on the cake for Pope John as Johnny Krieger buries it past the Delbarton goalkeeper. And it's 9-4. 47.8 seconds to go. It's Pope John looking to hold on for this one. It's funny, all 5 wins for Pope John have been double digits so far this year, and they've kept all 5 opponents in single digits. Will that happen again? They need one more goal to do so. But I guarantee you, if you ask Coach Vosa, he just wants to win. Here's the face-off. Dante Lamb will take it. Oh, whistle. And the possession will go over to Delbarton as Lamb moved about a quarter second too quickly. Here's number 24 racing up the right sideline. Lamb defending him. 42 seconds to go. It's over number 25 now. 25 racing in the shot, and he scores. We got a flag on the play. And it looks like an infraction, I think, against Delbarton. We'll find out more about it. So they put the goal on the board. It's 9-5. Referee picking up the flag, so looks like the goal is going to count. 9-5 with 29.1 seconds to go. Ball's at midfield. Lamb will take the draw against number 30 for Delbarton. 29 seconds to go here at Pope John High School. Delbarton trails by 4. Here's a face-off. Ball's on the turf. Lamb trying to scoop it up. He'll kick it forward. And there he's got it. Scoops it up, and he races over towards the left sideline. Now down below, number 14 on him. Lamb just looking to run out the clock at this point in time. 15 seconds to go. He's got number 30 defending him. Now double team, number 26 on him. He's got triple team. Thank you. 5 seconds to go. Lamb rolls out. Lamb's got it behind the net. And there's the horn. The pride is spoken. The Pope John Lions defeat the Delbarton Green Wave. Final score, Pope John 9, Delbarton 5. So a working day effort for Pope John, closing out Delbarton 9-5 today. 3 goals by Kellen Nelson in the first half. 3 goals by Ty Plotz in the second, leading the way. Michael Morelli, stellar goalkeeping for Pope John. The defense played great. And Pope John moves to 6-0 on the season as they head into the MetLife tournament this Saturday. So, good win for Pope John. Delbarton takes a defeat. They fall to 5-3 on the season. Pope John sweeps the season series against the Green Wave. And now they head over to the MetLife tournament with a 6-0 record on the season. Their next regular season game will be against Warwick, New York, on Saturday, May 13th at 12:30 p.m. But before that, this Saturday, the MetLife tournament in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, and we will be there for that. So, for everyone here at Pope John High School, this is Mike Formisano saying thanks for joining us. Final score once again, the Pope John Lions defeat the Delbarton Green Wave 9-5. Have a good rest of the evening, everyone, and we'll see everyone on Saturday.